Okay, so moving on to our last part of our lecture, which is learning print awareness and concepts of print. So children understand the functional value of print when they experience it directly. So reading street signs, soup cans, storybook readings, and writing letters. So if we really think about it, children are constantly surrounded by print. So at an early age, they realize um, that these symbols actually have meaning. So at first, they just are symbols, or not really letters to them, but they know that they do have meaning. So surrounded by print and learn early on that this print carries meaning. Environmental print awareness isn't as important to literacy development as concepts of print. So concepts of print include knowing that there's letters and words. There's a difference between pictures and words. Recognizing that print comes in different forms and format, and also understanding that print is related to speech, so it corresponds to it. And also thinking about when you're looking at, or when you are reading a book, it goes from left to right, same with writing. So those are just concepts of print, and sometimes these things aren't even specifically taught, but through observations they can see that. And that's why, again, it's important that we do inform the parents that they are their child's first teacher, and so that they need to have this print rich environment at their house, reading books with them, so they can show that books have pictures and books have print, and we turn a page, we turn from left to right, things like that. So that helps develop concepts of print. Oh, so here print awareness includes difference between pictures and words. They recognize prints in many forms. There's a difference between letters and words. Understand directionality, and from top to bottom. Okay, so there are ways to assess concept of print, and you can just do it by simply observing a student. So, watch them as they read a book. And there's also a checklist in our Lipson and Wixon that you can just quickly go through. And there's also some structured interviews in Lipson and Wixon as well. And one on titanium for you. Okay, so alphabet knowledge is, again, this is not a prerequisite for launching reading and writing instruction. 4-year-olds have some understandings of letters and sound. Uppercase is more recognizable than lowercase, so generally speaking, young children will learn uppercase before they learn lowercase. And so if you've ever taught kinder or first grade, you might notice that when they are writing their names or when they are writing, they use a variety of letters. Typically in kinder, you'll see more uppercases. As soon as they start to develop more, you will see a combination of both, and then eventually you'll see they start to learn the rules of writing, and then the capitals start to disappear only when necessarily. Or I'm sorry, I can't even speak. Capitals will only be used when appropriate. So children typically learn letters in their names first. And the most commonly known correspondence were B, G, K, O, P, T, and Z. And so the reason why children mostly knew these ones, because if you think about it, when you say B, the sound corresponds to the letter G, K, O, P, T, and Z. Okay, so assessing alphabet knowledge, you don't have to do it this time around because we will be giving an assessment during session 3 that will include alphabet knowledge, but if you want to, that is definitely okay, because as we all know, we want to use a variety of measures to assess a student's ability in that domain. So When you do assess them, though, you want to make sure that the assessment includes upper and lowercase letters. And generally, assessments that have that assess alphabet knowledge, the letters will be all mixed up. So they won't be in order. There'll just be some upper cases thrown in with lowercase. Note any inconsistencies with font. So this is something that has been kind of an issue with some assessments, that a student might say an capital I is an L because it looks like an L. So you're going to want to look at the fonts, because sometimes the G doesn't look like a G or the Q doesn't look like a Q. So those would be some limitations of the assessment if there were some inconsistencies with the font. There's Clay's letter identification assessment. You can do this informally. You can give them a whiteboard. You can just say letters verbally and have them write it, or actually you'd most likely would want to write it on the board yourself and then ask them what letter it is. You could give them flashcards. So there's so many ways to assess alphabet knowledge. And again, like I said, this is the one that we'll be giving in session 3 with your student. All right, so kind of wrapping things up. So here are some of the assessments that you can give. Remember, you are to give one other assessment aside from the ones that are required. And there are many to choose from. And there are also many on titanium. And again, please make sure that whatever you do choose, it is appropriate for your grade level. And you bring all necessary materials and you read the directions carefully. I have made mistakes giving students assessments, so let me warn you on that part, that just don't let it happen to you, because you would not want to give the student the assessment again, because then it wouldn't really be valid. They already might know what the answer is in some cases. But like I said, you have many to choose from. Just make sure it is appropriate for your student. And then there's the alphabet recognition. All right, so our session objectives, where we described and we explained early literacy skills, which included oral language development, phonological awareness, concepts of print, and alphabet recognition. Hopefully by now you have somewhat of an idea on which assessments you will be giving. There's 2 required, and then there's 1 that you get to choose on your own. And please make sure that you do have the materials necessary, especially for the core book. They ask you to bring blocks, so make sure you have those. And in class, we'll probably go over in more detail how to analyze the results from those assessments. Okay, so let me just leave you with this. Good teaching is, first and foremost, the communication of enthusiasm. It's from David G., who is a veteran history teacher. And I hope you guys have a good night. I am done, and I hope that I get some good rest so that tomorrow I can teach with some great enthusiasm. Goodbye.